What's up, Emily? Welcome.
Hey.
Hey, everyone. This is Emily. She's my friend, world traveler, currently in LA, and I think a complete superstar. I'm bringing her on this show because, most of my content is around health and fitness, nutrition, and dieting, and Emily's just like a total pillar, um, and a huge winner, even if it's unlikely so. Emily, want to tell us a little bit about who you are and your background, and then we'll jump into this really amazing transformation you've had this past year or so?
Yeah, thanks, Nate. That's really nice. Yeah, so we've known each other for a couple years now, maybe. Yeah. I'm from Virginia originally and went to school out there. After that, lived in the Southeast, moved out to Denver, lived in San Francisco, which is where Nate and I met, and
Hmm.
now I'm in SoCal. So yeah, I kind of bounced around a bit. I also did a year abroad, where I was working remote as a digital nomad, could call it, even though I kind of hate that terminology. Uh, my career has been in tech, worked in few different companies, mid-sized tech company, Series A, startup, publicly traded, one of the largest tech companies in Silicon Valley. So yeah, I've done the tech thing and now I'm doing consulting, working with startups on their go-to-market. So
Right. You're a historically sales absolute superstar. Now you're
yep,
doing go to market.
yep.
Totally. Gotcha. I'll link to your whatever links you want out later on once I publish this live. But Emily's been a friend of mine for a little while, and what I like about her story, so it was a body transformation, right? Right, Emily. I don't want to ruin it for you, but can you give us the high level of this big transformation you had over the past, was it year and a half?
Yeah. So I've always been into fitness. I studied public health in school, for my undergrad, and I've always played sports growing up. I was always athletic, but I my weight fluctuated a good amount, like probably a good 25 pounds, which I'm 5'5". I'm not a large person, so that's a lot on my frame.
25 pounds up from
Up,
baseline? Wow.
yeah, I'd
Gotcha.
say within a 25-pound range. Uh,
Mm.
yeah, so like I said, I'm 5'5", kind of a petite build. That's a good amount of weight. So yeah, my story's really been one of refinement, especially in the last year and a half. I'm in my mid 30s now, and going from being at a certain baseline to changing that gets harder the older you get. So really focusing on my nutrition and working out consistently has honestly completely changed my physique, and I didn't really think that was possible. It's like as you get older, you think it's going to get worse.
Yes.
It's gotten better. So
It's gotten better.
it's been cool.
I ever since I met Emily, I see myself in her. I see her in me, and that I've written my story publicly, you guys, about the pirate diet. I'm 37, and I've always been healthy and strong and weightlifter, sprinter, all this kinds of thing that I am. But eventually it gets the party stops at some point. This party stopped for me around 35 when I got fat for the first time. I was about 15 pounds over. Yeah, I got to 191, which for a 5'8" guy was a lot. I was typically used to be 180 or 175. Anyways, I see a lot of I don't. Let me put it this way, y'all. Like, there's plenty of stories you could like read where like people go super hardcore and make gigantic transformation, but they dedicate their whole life to it. Emily is a go-to-market person just like me. She works and hustles just like me. She has not changed her life entirely to become a fitness model, which arguably we'll talk about later. She's basically becoming a fitness model, y'all. She. We'll talk about that. She employed practice. So the first thing I like about her story is that She made her life. She made practical changes that made a big difference. It wasn't like Emily, I want you to fill in the details for us. It wasn't like you committed your whole life to monk mode, right? And the second thing I like about it, I want Emily to fill this in, is like you were already in like women and weight is such a taboo, complex subject. You were already in a reasonably okay place. You could have been okay. You could have said, I'm great the way I am.
Yeah.
But you said fuck it, and then you lost a bunch of weight. How you did. So I think that's really cool. So do you want to fill this in as like where you started and what you did? And actually what drives you?
Yeah. No, this is something I'm really passionate about. So I'm glad you teed it up that way. I think I'll answer that in two parts. But the first part is that, I have a full-time job and I am a normal, like corporate person at this at this stage in my life. Like,
Yep.
so that's when I started my journey, I was still with a large tech company, and I didn't have all day to just be working out and cooking.
Right.
So that's something I'm really passionate about. And I travel a ton just because I work remote and I can, and I love it. So my life does not revolve around, cooking all day and working out for 5 hours a day. And that's something I'm really passionate about, is that this can be super attainable for people that have busy lives and that are all about convenience. Like I'm the most all about convenience person. Like I want everything fast and easy. Um, and so that's something we can get into more, but I work out maybe 4 times a week, 30, 45 minutes. I do walk and try to do other things
Wait,
too.
say that one more time real quick. You said 3 to 4 times a week. How many minutes?
30 to 45 minutes, and that's
And
it.
that was what you were doing when you started your transformation.
Yeah.
Spend
Yeah.
that much.
It's not like
That
70
seems very reasonable, right?
for 2 hours.
Right.
I mean, there are things where I'm like, I try to get steps in and walk in between, but that's like
Sure.
legitimate, like gym time is like
So
30.
max, you'd say 4 hours a week, 4 sessions times 1 hour a week in the gym
Yeah.
on the high end.
Yeah. I
Gotcha.
think especially for women, I used to be a boot camp person, Barry's boot camp, Orange Theory,
Of
stuff like
course.
that. And I mean, that's why like the Pilates movement is taking over now, right? Like everyone's talking about like being a Pilates girl, and that's everywhere. But
You think more so now than before?
yeah, I mean, Pilates is really having a movement. Like Pilates is not a new exercise, right? Like the mat Pilates, that's been around for a
It's
really
been
long.
around for a long time.
Yeah, and the reformers even are, a new thing. So the fact that it's having a movement just shows that women are realizing like lower impact is better for our bodies, and that, inflammation from high impact workouts actually counteract what you're trying to do. And
And
I,
high intensity, high
yeah,
impact, high intensity. Can you actually pick that apart? Because I'm a newer student to this, but I think I know what you're talking about.
yeah.
Can you tell, for those who aren't initiated, talk about the low impact and low intensity for women?
Yeah, so I have the typical story where I was a cardio bunny. I did
Hmm.
cross country in high school, so I was used to running for years of my life. And then as I got older, like I said, I was at Barry's a couple times a week, or just always doing camp classes at the gym. And I was never really making progress. Like I was still in shape,
Mm.
but I was never getting cut. I was never getting more defined looking. My body composition wasn't really changing. I was kind of just maintaining, which was frustrating. So those workouts are really hard and really intense, right?
Hmm.
So I would feel really exhausted after, and then also my body wasn't really changing. And that's why, like I was saying, I think Pilates is having such a large movement right now
Hmm.
because lower impact, um, the higher impact, higher intensity spikes your cortisol, which then
Yes.
makes your body go into stress, and it actually counteracts you losing weight and yeah,
So
causes
the
it.
evolutionary argument is that women need to be cared and nurtured for, and by putting yourself in a stressful state, your body goes into fight or flight and doesn't start shedding fat as resources. It keeps them because it's in a very distressed situation. So you recommend Pilates as a more female friendly, harmonious option?
Yeah, I think Pilates is definitely great, but I also just do weightlifting, which is like dumbbells. I
Right.
mean,
So let's crack into that. So like you were previously doing only berries once in a while or a couple times a week, and you weren't making progress. You were stalled out.
I
So
was
take us
intensity classes at the gym too, and
high intensity classes at the gym.
intensity like hit classes.
So you're doing high intensity classes at the gym and
Mhm.
berries, which is also high intensity.
Yeah.
And so then that was before the transformation. How long ago was that?
Yeah, that was a few years ago. And even when I met you in the run club, like I
Hmm.
was running a lot too, which also I enjoy, but it
Hmm.
wasn't changing my body the way I wanted it to. So I was doing
Totally.
high impact, whether it's hit classes or running for years.
Gotcha. So basically, you were doing high impact stuff, whether running, whether berries, whether high intensity classes at the gym, but
Mhm.
all that changed starting a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Spare no detail. Take us through it for those or for those women, perhaps in their mid 30s, that want to make a difference. What does your workout look like now?
Yeah, I literally signed up for Beachbody was still popular at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I signed up for a membership with that. And I mean, there's a ton of these apps out there, but I like where I can just go to the gym and it tells me exactly what to do. And I don't have to think. I don't have to have like a like a roadmap of, okay, I need to do, this many exercise. I don't have to figure my way around. It's like you use these 10-pound dumbbells, 10, 12, whatever, work your way up, and you do these moves, and that's it. It's like I said, I like fast, efficient, so I don't have to go around the gym and use all the machines. I'm in one spot and I knock it out in 30 to 45 minutes, and I don't have to think about what I have to be doing.
So
So,
I'm actually not even following around already. I know berries.
mhm.
I know high intensity classes in the gym. This is different, you're saying. Beachbody. How is it different? And presumably it's lower impact, low intensity?
No, so it's just an app. It's a workout app.
Okay.
And I use one called Form now, and sometimes
Form.
I just have the workouts memorized because I've done it for so long.
Gotcha.
But basically, these are different apps that you can download, pay. You have to pay for them, but
Yeah.
it tells you exactly like how many of each exercise to do, whether it's free weights or sometimes you can use the machines for them as well. But I like free
Mhm.
weights because it's the easiest.
Totally.
Yeah, it basically just tells you how many reps of each thing to do and like times it out for you. So you don't have to count or do anything. It gives you like it's like a drop set. So you do a certain amount, gives you a 15-second break, and then you do the
Gotcha.
next thing.
Is it fair to characterize this? These are like not high intensity workouts, or how are they different from the stuff you were doing before?
Yeah, they're not high intensity. So it's truly just weightlifting.
What do
So
you consider to be high intensity? Because I thought you could do high intensity weightlifting as well in the
Oh,
gym,
that's a
right?
good point. So when I say high intensity, I'm thinking something like a berries or orange theory where it's like sprinting or
Ah,
high intense cardio mixed in with some weights. Uh,
okay, that's an important distinction, and I see what
yeah,
you're saying now. You're defining high intensity as like keeping intensity very high by incorporating cardio and mixing and matching it with weightlifting, basically back to back supersetting, right? What
yeah,
you're talking about when you're in the gym now, you're just doing straight weightlifting. You're not mixing it with cardio.
correct. Yeah.
Do you do cardio before or after in the gym at all?
Sometimes I'll run a mile or two, but it's minimal, honestly.
Mhm.
And I do try to walk like in the evenings or something like that. I don't hit 10,000 steps every day. I'm at maybe like 6 or 7,000.
Wow,
Um so yeah, I do try to get out and move around, but I it's not like a super structured thing where I'm getting 20,000 steps every day. It's not.
sure. So, so to summarize, you're in the gym 3 to 4 days a week
Mhm.
using Form or Beachbody, the app, and in that gym session, you're doing sounds like lighter weights ish, lighter weights.
I've bumped them up. I'm using between 10 and 15 pounds now.
Sorry, lightweight. Let's just, I guess
Light.
that's
Or
for you, right? Yeah,
to you, that's
light,
super light.
right. And so you're following the apps pretty closely,
Mhm.
and you're doing cardio with steps elsewhere. Sometimes you run a mile. Do you add any other high intensity cardio or movement in the week? Is that part of your system at all?
Sometimes I'll go for a run, like maybe twice a week for like
Mhm.
3 miles.
But separate from the lifting session.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I
it's
think
really
that's the
just
key to
like,
distinction. Go
yeah,
ahead.
it is separate. The weightlifting is my main priority because I feel like that's what's actually changing my body.
Hmm.
The cardio is more just like if it's a nice day out, I'll try to go for a run, but it's not super structured. I don't
Okay.
think I have to do it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Understood. So what I'm going to summarize the difference is as like berries and orange theory, they take weights with sprinting and cardio and combine it together.
Yeah.
Their kind of pitch is like they keep your heart rate really high, super intense, makes you feel like you had to go work out. And you did that for plenty of years, but
Yeah.
it didn't make a difference.
Right.
What sounds like what you're saying is you separated the cardio out, if at all, and you
Hmm.
just focus on weightlifting to build
Yeah.
muscle mass inside the gym. And you use those apps you mentioned, Beachbody and Form. Is that right?
Exactly.
Gotcha. Is it possible to talk about how those workouts are structured, or is it different every single time?
Yeah. I do a lot of full body workouts. If I'm doing it only 3 days a week, I try to do
Right.
every other day full body just so I'm
Hmm.
getting hitting everything. But if I'm going more, I'll do like an arms day and then abs. I do abs every day or every time I go, sorry. And then
Abs every day, or abs
yeah,
every day you go.
every day I go. And then I'll split it up by body, by muscle group if I'm doing like 4 or 5 days a week. But typically I do three full body workout 3 to 4 times a week.
Okay, so for the gym rats like me and out there, or formerly me, because I rarely go to the gym anymore, what, how many reps, how many sets, how much rest, like what do these workouts look like for you?
Yeah. It's
Volume.
Only like 12 to 15 reps, 3 sets, and then
Per movement.
yeah, correct.
So 12 to 15 reps, 3 sets per movement. Gotcha.
Mhm. Yeah, and then it just depends. Some of the workouts are like 4 different rounds. They repeat that 4 times, and then some of them are no repeats, so it's different movements each time all the way through, which is a little,
So
but
So I'm clear you either set up a circuit with a few different movements and circle through them 3 times, or you'll just do the movements separately. Do one movement in completion, move to the next movement. Gotcha. How many total movements per workout for your full body days?
um, I'd say probably 10 to 15.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because on the high end, you're going to have 3 sets per movement, which would be 45 sets. That's a lot of sets, but if you're taking that much rest in between, you can make that happen in an hour. I think more realistically, 10 movements by 3 sets. That's 30 sets. That makes sense. A little high, but you're not going high intensity. If you're going high intensity, you can't crank out 30 to 40 sets.
Right.
You're going and you said the weights are 10 to 15 pounds.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And these are full body workouts you mentioned. Are there any movements in particular you want to highlight as being the most productive for you or the most helpful for you, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, anything where all of your muscle groups are activated at the same time,
Hmm.
right? So obviously legs are always going to be good too because you're
Yep.
getting it's like the largest muscles where it's burning the most calories. But
Hmm.
yeah, I do a lot of side plank things where you're like moving your arms as well, like rows with side planks.
Oh,
Uh
really?
yeah. Things that, I do a lot of lunges, a lot of
Just, you know.
trying to think.
To me, it seems like lunge is one of the best movements you can do because most people, not just a girl thing, most people can't do like dips or pull ups. What do you do for pushing or pulling, if anything?
Yeah, I do push-ups.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Great.
yeah. Normally that's incorporated with my upper
How
body.
about like pulling down? Do you do like lat work or anything?
No, not really.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I'll do like overhead triceps, things like that, but I
Hmm.
don't do and I'll do skull crushers, which would be for
Tricep.
lats. Yeah.
Well, those are actually tricep, but we don't have to get technical. I'm resisting going really deep on the technical aspects of this workout just for the sake of the lady listener who might be listening.
Yeah.
But what to summarize, 10 to 15 movements per you follow form, you follow Beachbody. Are there particular workouts or programs in form of Beachbody that you could link to or reference that I could send out?
Yeah,
So that
definitely.
exists. Okay, so please send me that and I'll make sure everyone else gets it. I mean, I hear what you're saying, and like I said, I'm trying to resist too much detail, but full body, 3-ish days a week, 10 to 15 movements, a few sets per movement, circuited or just individually.
Yeah.
Would that be accurate?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And the weights, 10 to 15, maybe max 20-pound dumbbells?
Yeah.
Sounds like, okay, gotcha. How long did it take for you to start seeing results with that?
It didn't happen overnight, right?
Hmm.
Like, and obviously nutrition is a huge part of it too, which is
Which
something.
I want to get to next after we finish.
Yeah.
Both equally important. We just started with the lifting, but I want to get to the nutrition part as
Right.
well.
Because
Yeah.
obviously if you
Yeah.
can, create muscle, but if you have fat on top of it, you're never gonna.
Totally. And you need to give yourself protein to fuel the muscle growth, of course.
Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So I would say honestly, the full transformation took like 8 months, 6 to 8
Yeah.
months. Like it took a while. It was gradual, which is to be expected.
Well, you felt like it was gradual, but I bet a lot of people would think that's actually quite quick. There's differences of standards. I just want to commend you for making that happen because we'll link to the before and after pictures.
It's pretty dramatic.
I want to talk about that real quick before we talk and jump into diet. I think I asked you beforehand when we were chatting casually. Wait, let's talk about nuts and bolts here. You're what, 5'5",
Hmm.
and your weight was, and what was your weight then after all this?
Yeah, I'd say my highest, my weight was around 138.
138.
Yeah, 138, 5'5". Like I said, I have kind of a petite frame, so that
Mm-hmm.
felt like a lot. And now I'm
Right.
around like 118.
118. That's 20 pounds.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
20 pounds, about 1/7, so 15% of your body fat,
yeah.
body weight right there. Yeah.
It's kind of
Uh,
crazy.
yeah. Well, I think that everyone should be able to choose their own path. Some people make the wrong decisions, but that's not my business. But what I do think we lose track of, I've written about this on my blog before, is the difference of average versus normal. Average is the statistical mean of the sample size that exists currently. And if you average out the weight of people right now, well, the majority of people are obese or overweight in our country, right? So if you take the average of that, you're going to end up measuring yourself against someone who's obese or overweight. I think that's really sad because it changes our perspective on what is probably healthy and historically normal, which is my definition of normal, which is what a human person should strive to be given the conditions that they have. I want to give you props because 138 you could have 138 is probably average, if not below average.
Yeah.
Probably, right? It's probably below average. You could have been like, yeah, check box, I'm good. But and if people feel that way, then more power to them. But I just want to give you props for saying, fuck that. I want something better for myself. I actually want to be normal, which I would argue you are right now. So I think that's really awesome. So 138 to 118 because I have it's often like female friends and girlfriends of the guys that read my blog. They confide in me something really. They kind of tell me like I want to lose weight, even though everyone else tells me I'm normal and fine, and I feel guilty for wanting to be essentially healthy or normal. And I
Yeah.
think that's such a shame. I've had several conversations with women about that,
That's interesting.
and I've had several conversations with, and there's this concept of body dysmorphia. Men and women have it, right? Men have it often in the form of bodybuilding. Obviously, dysmorphia is bad. I don't want to even talk about that. I'm not a medical professional. But if you strive to be exceptional, you should be enabled to
Yeah.
be exceptional, right?
No, yeah, that's a good point. Like I could have been at that weight and, you know, felt like I still looked attractive and like,
Right.
you know, I didn't feel like I was ever overweight and I couldn't do anything or like live a active life like I
Right.
wanted
Right.
to. But it was more just I had been smaller in the past and I knew what I wanted for myself and that I wanted to just feel more confident. And that was a lot of it too, of that I knew
Confident.
that there
Interesting.
was room for me to get in better shape based on, fluctuations over the years, but also
Hmm.
it becomes addictive. And we've talked about this a little bit that once you start to see some results, you really get addicted and you want to keep going and see what you're capable of. And honestly, I'm the most confident I've ever felt in my skin at this age. And it's crazy because everyone's like, oh, your 20s are your best years, or, the younger's always better in our
No.
culture. And I'm like, I'm 36 and I'm like, this is the best. I feel like I've learned my body. I know what works, and I want to help anyone to be able to do that faster,
Right.
sooner. Because I think it's when you feel good on the outside and you feel healthy, it really does impact every area of your life, and that's the
Totally.
that I think is like what matters the most.
Yeah, making progress is so important. One of my favorite quotes is from Tony Robbins. He goes, "Happiness equals progress." It has
So
something to do with humans. We progress creates addictive habits and behaviors, and we get fulfillment from those behaviors and seeing progress. So I'm an advocate. What even if it's not in the health and fitness world or nutrition world, do something that is meaningful to you that you can create progress, no matter how small. And the cool thing about losing weight, like you did, is that it's very visual and you get the positive feedback all the time. I also heard a really great quote from Chris Williamson. It's the Modern Wisdom podcast a few months ago. I never thought about this, but he goes basically like lifting weights, especially in the gym, is one of the only things you can do where you can see the future in real time.
I love that.
Because you get pumped up and you see, oh my God, I'm going to hopefully look like that soon if I keep going. And
Totally.
so one of the only things you can do where you see the future in real time. Now, of course, it fades within hours, but that's such a great point.
That's
Um,
I like that.
so obviously, in achieving these types of results, the unlikely winner that you are, um, exercise is huge, but just as important, if not more important, is diet.
Yeah.
So can you walk us through what the diet was looking like previous to the transformation and what it looks like now?
Yeah. Yeah. So like we said, you can go to the gym all the time, but if you
Hmm.
have high body fat, you're not going to see results. Um, so a couple of things I changed. I didn't go on a, vegan diet or paleo or anything that like eliminated all these food groups that I had tried some of those in the past and they never worked for me. I'm
Right.
not, I'm the kind of person where if you restrict something, I'm going to want more of it. And so
Yeah.
type of setup I was never successful with that. And But yeah, I mean it's not rocket science, but I really just started doing like 80/20. I started
Good point.
cooking a lot more versus
Ah,
eating out. I honestly think that is such a big game changer if you travel a lot, if you eat out a lot, which I've done in the
mhm.
past for work. I've had jobs where I had to travel more. Um, that that was hard. But yeah, I started eating, cooking my own food, doing, higher protein, more vegetables. But I eat everything. That's the point. Like I still drink alcohol once in a while. Like I eat bread, I eat carbs. It's, when I go to the grocery store, I always prioritize like meats, vegetables, and then build everything else around that. So, I know that's pretty like high level,
We'll
but
jump into it. For what it's worth, several very healthy, lean women I know have cited meat and vegetables as their primary lever, as you just said too. I didn't see that with you. I've heard that a lot. So how do you? I also want to comment real quick. It's funny how you started by saying. By the way, for everyone here, I know that she's been successful. I have not even asked her the details before, even though she's my friend. So I'm learning this in real time with you guys. You mentioned you started with like you didn't do the vegan, you didn't do the paleo. It's so unfortunate that we're tribal animals, us humans. It's like either you're with us or you're against us. And what's more tribalized than like your diet, vegan, carnivore, paleo, keto, and it's interesting how even in your languages now you said, well, I tried those things that everyone tried and I didn't, and they didn't work. But why do we even resort to this extreme elimination BS in the first place? It's not necessary. It's not
I
necessary.
agree.
Eating reasonably. It's not necessary whatsoever.
I think people want some like parameters to follow. So if
Right.
it's like, okay, don't eat carbs and be paleo, it gives them like exact boxes to live within,
It's overly simplistic.
Yeah,
Overly
exactly. So
simplistic.
it seems like the rigidity is helpful to some people of like, okay, if I just
Right.
cut out all these things, then I'm gonna lose weight.
Hmm.
But what happens is that restrictive type dieting, it causes people then when you mess up or you like do, go against it one time, which of course you're going to because it's so restrictive,
Totally.
then it creates this all or nothing mindset, which is
Hmm.
really can be really unhealthy of like, okay, well, I already blew my diet, so now I'm just gonna overeat,
Yep.
and then you're even further back than where you started, and it creates this like good food and bad food mindset, which can be really
Problematic. Yeah.
problematic, and just it creates so much food noise and like so
Hmm.
much mental space is taken up with like beating yourself up and trying to jump back on, and it can be very defeating just from someone that's tried that. That's
Totally.
my
Totally.
experience. So
And I've written about my diet recommendations frequently on the blog. So if everyone wants to check it out, just go to the blog. But what I want to highlight here, what Emily did, and what I have done with the pirate diet that I've written about is like my title of my blog post is how I used steak and beer to lose 18 pounds. Saying that cheekily because it's also true. My primary lever was meat, specifically beef and fish and vegetables and fruits. But building a robustness into it, I think is really important. Like it's very obvious you can go full monk mode, cut down a bunch of calories, be hyper disciplined and remove food groups even. It's hyper obvious that will work, but is it practical? And so my definition of success is be something that's robust. And I just like you, Emily, I intentionally eat out several days per week. I mean, I have no problem doing it. I quite like it, but I intentionally eat out because it creates I don't want to say chaos, but it creates variance that your body has to adapt to, and it gives you like the relief, or I should say, the lack of need for relief because it doesn't feel overly restrictive. I just
yeah,
wish people would find a more balanced and harmonious way to eat eat right rather than just completely going extreme and failing. Right.
right. I think, yeah, like I said, it's that failure, like defeated mindset. If you mess up once, that then
Right.
people quit altogether.
Hmm.
And the goal is long term, right? This takes consistency. Consistency is really the name of the game
Hmm.
of weight loss. Like,
Hmm.
you can work out, twice a week and you're never gonna see um the result. Like it has to become part of your lifestyle.
Totally. Totally. Just a
So,
quick math, real quick. You said you lost that say 20 pounds
mhm.
6 months, that's about 24 weeks. So doing ballpark math, were you losing about three quarters of a pound a week, up to a pound a week? Did you
Yeah,
measure like that?
I'd say so. I wasn't weighing myself during the whole
Oh,
time.
you weren't. That's very,
No, I only
that's,
weighed myself at the beginning, and then after I'd lost weight, once I realized I was up to like 138, I was like, okay, now I need to do
whoa.
something. Yeah,
Wait,
but I
hold on. That's really interesting. You weighed yourself at the top, and then
Mhm.
how much did you weigh yourself on the way down?
Really not at all.
Whoa. Okay, that's kind of surprising because some will say you should weigh yourself all the time. So you didn't weigh yourself at all on the way down,
No, I didn't. And I knew I was losing weight just by the way my clothes fit, but
right?
I mean, this is everyone's different, but for me, like it's talking about some of the mental stuff with all of this, I think I could be obsessive if I weighed myself every day, and then if I didn't see it go down, then I'm like, oh, then I'm not, you know, it's not working, and then you give up altogether.
Mhm.
Mentally, it was just better for me not to have a scale and not weigh myself.
Whatever works for you, right?
Yeah, I know everyone's different with that, but
Everyone's different. Yeah.
for me, it was better to just go by how I was feeling and like how my clothes fit. And I would get too in my head with the numbers, and then like it was like a too much
Totally.
all or nothing mindset. So if I didn't
Right.
lose a
Right.
pound that week, I would like, oh, I'm nothing's working, and I'm just gonna
Right.
whatever.
Honestly, that's pretty freaking smart. When I was doing the more major cut I did in like 2 or 3 months, I was like on the scale every day, like super optimizing. I was just getting jacked. I'm like, oh hell yeah, right. It's probably a misattribution or miscorrelation of because the weight takes time to fall off. But you know
Yeah,
what
it
did it?
could be like
Yeah,
you're bloated. It could be water weight.
right.
Then you
Water retention from
get
carbohydrates,
that it's
totally.
not working when it is, but it just takes another week or two,
Yeah.
and then women can like gain,
Not to mention, yeah, your cycles, which are totally a
yeah,
factor,
that,
right?
yes, exactly. And then also when you first start weightlifting, sometimes or lifting weights, you can have inflammation and like you can
Sure.
actually feel bigger at first before like the
Totally.
to come off. So
Yeah.
there's just a lot of factors that the numbers on the scale, I didn't want to add that extra.
Yeah, it's. I don't want to discourage anyone or scare anyone from lifting weights. It's very unlikely to happen to most people, and if it does, it means you're actually pretty sophisticated. But body recomposition is what it's called. You lost weight and you recomposed, but some people can just recompose at the same body weight.
Yeah,
So like you don't
exactly.
lose much at all, but you look a lot different.
Your
But
clothes.
again, I don't want to scare the ladies out there. It's very unlikely to happen to you if you're a beginner or intermediate. But you recomposed and you went down. You know what did it for me when I was this is it was July 2023, almost 2 years ago. I've been a size 32 waist my whole
Mhm.
life, and I even wrote an article the previous year about how waist circumference is causally, not correlated, causally related to all cause mortality, which is to say, the bigger your waist, because your waist circumference is a proxy for how much visceral body fat you're storing in your trunk, in your abdomen, which is just bad for all the reasons. Anyways, I literally wrote a blog post saying the bigger your waist is, the more likely is you'll die from anything, and it'll cut years off your life. Then I had bought a bigger belt for the first time in my, well, ever, at age 35. And I was looking at the fucking belt. And I was like, at some point, I was like, I had it for like a month or a few. I was like, fuck this. And I'm keeping that belt, never throwing it away. That was what did it for me, actually. Um,
Yeah. It's
yeah.
funny how we all have those things, right? Where it's like, oh, my pants are really tight. I could
Yeah.
either buy new pants or I could be like, this is it. It's time.
Right. That's what it's all about. Like, there's two kinds of people in this world, like red pill or blue pill. Like, choose
Yeah.
your path. Choose
Yeah.
your path, man. And it's just not a good idea unless there's a really reason. Maybe I don't know what the reason would be. Maybe pregnancy. That's a good reason to gain weight. But
I
other
think,
than that, there should be no rapid gain of weight where you should need a new pair of pants. That's like the I never really thought about it. That's kind of like the dividing line, you know?
yeah. Yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
something's gotta
Something's
give.
got to change. Okay, so to summarize your diet notes, you didn't do restriction, you did 80/20, you focused on cooking versus eating out. All makes sense. But walk us through a day in your life or a week in your life of eating, if you wouldn't
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah. So my biggest life hack is an air fryer. I know
Air
it's not
fryer.
revolutionary, but I'm single.
People love air fryers.
It's because it's the easiest and fastest way to eat real food, and make
Oh,
it
okay.
taste good. So I do, like I said, I'm on the go a lot. It's just me. So I do eggs a lot during the week for breakfast. I do a lot of cottage cheese. blueberries.
You put the eggs in the air fryer, you can do that, right?
You can do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do them stovetop or I'll do like breakfast sausage or something in the air fryer. So it's normally high protein breakfast, right? We all know that that's important. It sets your tone for the day, it keeps you full longer.
Can I summarize something real quick? The air fryer, you can cook food without needing oil, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Right. And so, just myself example, I come from Mediterranean kitchen, and fat is on everything because fat is love. And what I realized is my macros weren't that bad, but I was just putting fat on everything, and that was one of the things that did it for me. The point of the air fryer is I actually have never owned an air fryer, but the point of the air fryer,
Gotta
Emily's
get
saying, is you can cook food and proteins especially, or carbohydrates especially, without needing to add more fat,
Yep.
right?
Yep, exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and it's fast, right? Like you can do
It's fast, yeah.
salmon in like 8 minutes. It's not like you don't have to preheat the oven. It doesn't take as long.
Air
Vegetable
fryer, yeah.
sprouts are incredible in the air fryer. They get really
Brussels.
crispy. I do those a lot. Sweet potatoes.
How do you do the sweet potatoes? I'm curious.
Yeah, I'll just slice them up like fries or wedges, and I will put like some olive oil on them, and then put them in the air fryer, and they come out
Oh,
really.
so you will hit it with the olive oil. Gotcha.
I'll
But
like
just
put
a
them
little
in a
bit.
bowl with some olive oil and then put it in there. Yeah.
How long in the air fryer do like carbohydrates and vegetables need?
Um, Brussels sprouts I think are around like 8 minutes,
Oh,
maybe
that's fast.
12. Yeah, depending on how much is in there. And then the sweet potatoes, I think maybe like 13, 14.
Because that's way quicker than like the oven, right?
Exactly. And for one person, it's like, heating up an entire oven for like a small amount of vegetables.
Right.
It's just like, if you care about this, it's a waste of energy as well. Um,
100%.
yeah, so the air fryer is just way more efficient, especially if you're not cooking for a full family. And I do all sorts of things in there. The salmon, like I said, is fantastic. I've done chicken in
Interesting.
there, burgers. I mean, yeah, I
For what
think
it's worth, y'all, I'm not setting this up. I have never even owned an air fryer. I'm thinking to myself, shit, I gotta get an air fryer.
I'm like air fryer needs to give me some type of kickback here
Right.
because
Seriously, this episode sponsored
I'm
by.
their number one fan. And I get these little parchment papers that you put in so you don't have to wash it every time. You just throw it.
Ooh, parchment papers. Good hack.
Yep, it's on
This
Amazon.
makes cooking very simple and very moderate to low calorie,
And it
which is
actually
what we're
tastes,
looking for, right?
yes,
And it tastes good.
it's not like microwave vegetables where they're all mushy and like
Yep.
gross.
And it denatures some of the nutrients, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Exactly.
The big microwave doesn't want you to believe, but that's a separate conversation. Uh, well, so sorry, I cut you off.
Companies are coming after us.
Right, right. Yeah, we've talked shit about berries. We've talked shit about run clubs. Sarah at MRC is not going to appreciate
Yeah,
this.
there's
We're talking shit about microwaves. What else do we have? Uh,
getting kickbacks from the air fryer community.
yeah, yeah. We'll make it up from air fryer. Yeah, this
Yeah.
episode's not sponsored, not yet. Um, but I cut you off, Emily. Start from the top. Without the air fryer, which is huge, but start from the top one more time and bring us through an average day or an average week.
Okay, yeah. So in the morning, high protein. Like I said, I do eggs a lot. I'll do avocado toast. I'll do cottage cheese, which is having a big moment right now.
Yeah.
Different toppings you can put on that. I do blueberries and walnuts with a little bit of maple syrup a lot. It's fantastic. So I do some variations of high protein. I try to get some fat in there for breakfast. Lunch, I'll do some meats, whether I cook it then or do some meal prep. I try to make some of my meats for during the week or at the beginning of the week. So I'll do like cook a bunch of salmon, cook a bunch of chicken, whatever in the air fryer, and then I'll just store it for a few days. So lunch will be some type of protein, whether it's a salad or with some vegetables, that I
Cool.
usually make the vegetables fresh every day. Um, and then dinner will be sometimes I eat out or I do tacos a lot. I do um, some other variation of like meat, vegetable, carb. Like it's really pretty simple. And I usually make most of the things fresh. Like I'll do the meats in bulk and then I'll do the vegetables each time. I
You do
make,
the vegetables each time. Yeah.
yeah,
I do them. I do my meat in bulk as well. Yeah.
yeah, but I'll do the meat all at once. So
Yeah. You know what I do is like a sauerkraut, kimchi, easy way to get vegetables in the jar, no cooking necessary, and basically 0 calories.
I like that.
Oh yeah, that's all in the pirate diet. I'll send you the link. I personally don't track any calories at all.
I
I
don't.
more or less track protein kind of. I'm going to ask you, not because I think you should or shouldn't, but I'm curious, what do you have a view as to your macro composition? Do you have a view on into your calories and do you have a view into your proteins?
Yeah, I actually don't track, which I know is controversial because
Yeah.
people probably like the data and they want to track. But um, I don't know. I know I do a high protein, lower carb diet, but I eat
Hmm.
carbs. Like I eat
Right.
bread, eat rice, I eat um I'll do like pasta once in a while. Like I
Hmm.
know that I eat carbs, but I don't track it all. I don't know. I like you can tell I'm not a big I don't have an aura ring. Like I
Hmm.
don't do all the data. I just go by how I feel. And if I'm feeling like sometimes when I feel kind of jittery or like, I need some type of energy or I feel low energy, I'll eat more carbs. But it's really I do intuitive eating and it's been working. Because I
Intuitive
think
eating.
when I use
Totally.
too many of the numbers, I get too regimented with it. And then it becomes more about um hitting a certain number versus like just eating what feels good.
Hit,
And
hitting a certain number is such a crazy concept. Like one of
yeah,
the things that I wrote about in the pirate diet was like, if you're trying to lose weight, a significant amount of weight, like it's crazy how we have to hit, or people think we have to hit certain numbers. That's like saying you need to add water to a bucket to remove water to a bucket, or some sort of like the coin the term I coined in the pirate diet was remove to improve. The fact of the matter is, once you kind of get your if you're like really overweight and have no control over your diet whatsoever, the first move is to just eat healthy foods without respect to volume and quantity.
right,
Then once you're there, the second step is just bring that number down. It's simple thermodynamics. You need less calories. And I hear people, often women actually, more so than guys, say, I have to eat a certain amount of protein per day. Well, if you ate that only in lean chicken breast and protein shakes, that would probably be okay. But what you're doing is you're creating a whole meal around that extra protein, which is extra calories, which is not going to help you lose weight. You're going to gain
yeah.
weight. You're actually going to gain weight.
Well, I think what makes it sustainable
Yeah.
is if you eat real food, you will be
Hmm.
fuller, right?
Correct.
So if you are eating
Correct.
like packaged food, Pop-Tarts and
Hmm.
donuts and, a bunch of empty carbohydrates without
Hmm.
eating real ingredients, real food, you are going to end up eating more calories because your body's not going to be full.
Not full.
So I
Yeah.
think that's why I'm big on like eating real food and it figures itself out because it you don't have to be super regimented if you are eating real ingredients. Your body is going to feel full. And you do
Mhm.
need to focus on high protein just to like get build muscle, but I don't know. I think that we make it harder than it needs to be sometimes. You
I
just
agree.
shop the perimeter of the grocery store. That's where all the real
Yep.
is.
Shop the perimeter. I would even say as well, like if you think you're going to get by on lean chicken breast and broccoli and protein shakes, you're not, because
Yeah,
it's not satiating. There's no
right.
fat.
It's
There's
not
no flavor.
sustainable. It's not
Like the
sustainable.
fitness industry survived off this whole like chicken breast and broccoli meme for like decades, but we're all
That's
realizing.
true.
And I never did that. As I say in the Power Diet, I often eat like a complete degenerate, but that's my robustness. I go hard with the fasting and I go hard at home with the clean ingredients. So it works for me. But yeah, everything that the fitness industry used to think was true is, and I don't even want to be a part of that industry. Neither of us do. But it's eating proper foods is sounds obvious, but harder than we thought. Okay, so coverage transformation. Talked about exercise. We talked about diet. Is there anything else in your story? I mean, you're such an inspiration, Emily. Like, what else do you want? Like, what else do you want to leave us with? And anything else you want to tell, or what would you tell a lady getting started on her journey and she had 20 pounds to lose?
Yeah,
What would you
that's
tell
a
her?
great question. I think I would just like my biggest thing is consistency is what's going to make the difference, right? This is a
Mm.
long game and you need to enjoy the process, which I know people say that about
Mm.
like for work, whatever. It's like don't fall in love with the outcome, fall in love with the progress
Enjoy
because
the process.
this is going to be a long-term lifestyle change. Like the food needs to taste good, right? It needs to actually fit into your lifestyle. Like don't go out and go on these extreme diets that you can't maintain. Like it's a long game.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I would just encourage people that you can always get in the best shape of your life. Like I said, I got in my best shape at 36 versus 26. I'm in better shape now than I was then, and just start somewhere. and fall in love with the process. Because once you start lifting weights and you start to see some changes in your body, it all works together. Then you want to fuel yourself better, because it starts to become fuel versus just trying to get skinny. And it all like it's all harmonious.
All harmonious. Amen to that. Falling in love with the process.
Yeah.
Emily, thanks so much for coming out.
Thank you, Nate. I appreciate it. It's a lot of fun.